Hi everyone, I'm Joe. Today I'm going to do a book review of Excession, written by Iain M. Banks. This is a science fiction novel originally published in 1996. It is the 5th book in the Culture universe, of which there are 10 in total. So this marks the halfway point. Now, as far as the plot of the novel goes, I'll talk about that in a moment. First of all, I'll just say about the background of the culture as a whole. Now, the culture is a Homo sapien civilization. You are never entirely 100% sure throughout the book whether it is actually directly descended from humanity on Earth or not. You have a feeling it might be, but you're not sure. Anyway, we have expanded to the stars, and now humanity has created a galaxy-wide civilization. We are not the only civilization, however, in the universe. There are many others of which we have met and interact with, and in some cases we have had large-scale wars with, because this is humanity after all. That's what we tend to do. However, this is a future world and universe where we have managed, because we now have resources from asteroids and other worlds and things, we are in a post-scarcity environment, and this means that in theory we should be a less violent and less aggressive species, and therefore other species that we meet, hopefully if they are indeed spacefaring, then they should also be less aggressive. Again, in theory it doesn't always work out, but we have developed a society of sort of very much a leisure-focused society where people do things because they are interesting and they find them rewarding on an intellectual and personal level, rather than they do them just because they are need to be done and we need the resources, because frankly we kind of don't at this point. As well as the humanity and indeed other human species, there are one other significant factor in this universe, and that is the AI minds, or what I just called minds for pretty much all the case of the books. Minds are these super intelligent, unsurprisingly, and very advanced artificial intelligences. They are fully sentient, so they are essentially full-on personalities and indeed people of sorts in their own rights, and they're very important within the culture, because one thing, they come into every culture novel, and another, they run most of the major systems within the culture universe, like governments and voting systems and many other significant resources and indeed resource management are run by minds. There are relatively few minds compared to humanity, unsurprisingly, because they are so advanced and so fast at doing what they are capable of. There don't need to be that many of them, but they play an important part, so that they hit above their weight, so to speak, as far as plot is concerned. Now, on to the plot of this novel, Excession. I'll read the synopsis. 2.5 millennia ago, the artifact appeared in a remote corner of space, beside a trillion-year-old dying sun from a different universe. It was a perfect black-body sphere, and it did nothing. Then it disappeared. Now it is back. Now this is a very simple and very mysterious synopsis, and indeed it is designed on purpose to be like that, because all of a sudden this strange black sphere, nobody knows exactly what it is. Is it some kind of miniaturized wormhole, although it doesn't have the same effect as a normal wormhole has? Is it a spaceship? Nobody knows what it is. But of course, people get very interested indeed, and indeed one of the major aspects of humanity is our curiosity, and that is what this black sphere piques. So we go to investigate. However, we are not the only people to investigate, of course, because there's other species go to investigate. One of these being called the Affronter, who are a interesting race, let's say, and they are quite aggressive in the way they go about getting things that they want. They head there as well, and this starts to present problems, because you have multiple ships and multiple species rushing to this one point, or this sphere, and everybody wants to investigate it and see what it can lead to. Is this a source of technology? Will it create a fantastic resource of some massive technological advancement? Will it be military in some way? Nobody knows, but nobody wants to be left out. Everybody wants to stake their claim, and indeed they want to make their claim the only claim. And basically this creates an atmosphere of being on the verge of war throughout the book, and of course nobody wants war, at least most people don't, and that is where the book starts, and the main focus of the novel being this very cautious environment where everybody's being very wary of one another, because of course we don't want intergalactic war with spaceships, unsurprisingly. Anyway, as far as the characters goes, and indeed the points of view, there are several human characters and indeed several non-human characters who have their own plot lines and their own motivations for being and doing what they are doing. There are also the points of view of several of the minds, and indeed there is one or two segments of the book, although they are short, where you have a collection of minds having a big conversation, obviously via some sort of subspace communication network or something. And the minds, to my way of thinking, play a more significant role in the book compared to their sheer length in terms of actual page length and what they provide than their actual presence would make you believe. They play a small role as such, but their influence is significant, and actually their influence is probably more significant than the human characters and all the other characters combined, frankly. They dominate the novel in a really interesting way. You don't see this for a while, and indeed in a way it's kind of hard to see, because the way Banks's writing style is very much distinctive Banks style. It's very wordy and very detailed, but it's not overdone. He doesn't write unnecessary elements of the book, like unnecessary characters, unnecessary plot lines, or world building exercises too much. Of course there are a few little moments here or there where he obviously is enjoying himself and he maybe has written a little bit more about a certain element than is needed, but his enthusiasm and his grasp of what he wants to get across to you is so great that it's almost irrelevant. I mean, you forgive him because you can tell he truly knows what he wants to achieve, and you want to see the end result just as much as he wants to finish writing it and see people's reactions himself. And indeed that's one of the significant points about this novel, is that you want to see what Banks has written, because it's just his influence of this novel and all the culture novels. He has a very unique writing style, and it's just, I think it's best to read it yourself, or read a culture novel yourself and experience it for yourself rather than me having to explain it, because it'll work out in a more interesting manner that way. Now, this novel is not without its flaws, however, because no novel is flawless to my mind. And one of the flaws is that some of the subplots and some of the way the characters interact with each other and indeed the greater world in this novel sometimes seems a little bit off, and in terms of being off centre and not quite linking up in the way you might expect. And it seems not broken exactly, but at least slightly fractured, because they don't quite work in the way that you would want them to. And whilst you can tell that this is obviously a insignificant effect for the book, I mean, Banks is achieving what he wants to achieve, and he does achieve a great result at the end of it, you do think that maybe he could have done some of the elements of the characters and their interactions better, at least to my mind anyway. But this is only a fairly insignificant thing, because he has got such enthusiasm for this world that you can forgive him quite a lot, frankly, and I have. And although there is not much to forgive, because he doesn't make many mistakes with these novels, and indeed this novel in particular, because he does what he wants to set out for. This is a epic science fiction novel with great scope and presence, amazing writing style, characters and world building are all really impressive. Overall, I would really recommend this novel because it is just a really interesting novel. It may take a little bit of time to get used to, and I wouldn't necessarily recommend it as your first Iain M. Banks and culture novel, because the novels before it, as it is the fifth, might be worth it more first, but it's well worth reading, and you could read it as your first, frankly. None of the novels are in incremental order. This might be the fifth as such, but you can read them almost in any order, really. Just some of the old ones might sort of build up the universe in a way that helps the later books, though I'm not sure myself yet. Anyway, so with that said, that is it for this novel. If you have read this novel, or indeed have read any other novels by Banks and want to talk about them, then please leave a comment and we can have a talk about it. All my social media links can be found in the description box below, as they always are. And with that, that is it for this video. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you another day. Bye for now.